our slogan was "We never close." So that was with the intention of serving the customers 24 hours. Out of our client transactions, what we do daily in the bank, over 90% have moved to digital.
The bank, since its inception, has repeatedly accessed the capital market to fund our expansion activities. Foreign investors are usually long-term investors, and therefore they do a very detailed, deep analysis into companies before they invest to ensure smooth functioning and continuation of a business as usual.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Stock Pulse. This is a video series where we engage in discussions with the leadership of our leading listed companies. This will also provide investors an opportunity to gain an insight into the companies that they may be interested in investing in. It also provides the opportunity for listed companies to engage with their shareholders and stakeholders both locally and internationally. Today, we have one of our leading listed companies and also one of the leading and top banks in the country, and I have great pleasure in welcoming Mr. Nanda Fernando, the Managing Director to Stock Pulse. Nanda, a warm welcome to our program today. I'd like to start today by focusing on one of the key challenges that all of us are facing today, and that's the third wave of the COVID pandemic. We know that banks are undergoing a challenging time with some of the bank branches being closed for extended period, and also the need for banks to be continually open and servicing their customers, and particularly given a bank like you, which has a fairly wide network of branches and a lot of Sri Lankans who access the banking environment. How have you faced this environment, say, in comparison to last year, the lockdowns in the last year?
Really, Rajeeva, as you know, from the 1987 where we started and revolutionized the banking industry, our slogan was "We never close." So that was with the intention of serving the customers 24 hours, and still continuing from where we started in 87, even during the last lockdown, continuing from servicing our customers through the automated channels. Going one step beyond last year, we introduced a cash home delivery service as well in association with PickMe, the PickMe company. But of course, during the time period we had between the last lockdown in last year, the first quarter, second quarter, between that time and now, we have, with the experience that we gained additionally, we have extended our the servicing of the servicing customers apart from coming over to the bank continuously. In fact, the week before and the last week, there were restrictions of travel restrictions, and though the banks were closed, we were going to the bank every day. Our staff were there, but there were restrictions for customers to call over at the branches and for us to entertain customers inside the branches. So that was an issue the customers faced. But during this particular period as well, we continued to serve the customers through the machines for basic needs such as cash deposits, withdrawals, and our customer care center was open 24 hours, and the hotlines were there for customers to call and make use for their services. Apart from that, through our flagship product called Sampath Vishwa, we introduced online KYC system where a customer who did not have an account with us could open an account without coming to the bank at all. So this was a new addition to the customers, which enabled them to open new accounts and do online banking apart from walking into the machines and making use of them. So apart from that, we also introduced a corporate Visa credit card, and also we introduced a corporate fuel card, which are the new introductions to an addition of a lot of internal process improvements that we have done over the last year and a half.
Actually, we are very happy to hear the innovation within the bank to respond to the challenges, particularly I think initiatives such as the digital onboarding of clients, which I'm sure will be very beneficial to a large segment of people. And given the level of technology innovation that you all have been doing, have you seen a greater adoption of conversion into digital means by your customers as against physical visits, etc.? Are you seeing a shift to more people adopting to digital banking?
Yes, Rajeeva, more and more are coming. And in fact, I'm happy to say that out of our client transactions, what we do daily in the bank, over 90% have moved to digital. So that's a great, achievement from the point of the bank as well as from customers. Because under these circumstances, obviously the handling of cash is considered a risk to health conditions. So therefore, minimizing the usage of cash, we have seen a huge trend towards moving into digitalized modes. And also we introduced the Sampath VPay, which enables people to make their payments with the use of the VPay wallet. So with the use of the mobile phone, they could touch the mobile phone to a POS device or even a phone and make their payments. And even we have been promoting this in very specially together with central banks payment and settlement systems initiatives, and even in places outside Colombo, rural areas, as well as in areas such as Mathura, Mathale. We did a whole lot of campaigns where the small-time vendors, like even in the Sunday fairs, the polar type of places, they do a lot of transactions through the touch of the mobile phone through the VPay wallet. So we have seen a huge increase, and which is less costly to the customers as well, because in most of our digitalized channels, the cost to the customer is less, apart from the time they save in traveling to the bank. So we have seen a huge trend, and it is proving to be very useful for all parties.
Nanda, I think it's quite evident that the use of the mobile phone has, I think, given convenience to customers. Do you also see any challenges or threats in terms of security or cyber threats arising from the use of mobile phones? Are people comfortable in using these products?
Yes. The people are comfortable, but of course we have got to increase the awareness in a big way, very especially when you take the Sri Lankan community. The majority of the people do not understand or read and understand English. So therefore, we have got to take this to be applied and Sinhala to be trilingual, which we are doing in all our media communications with the public as well. So the people are pretty comfortable in using the mobile phones as long as we expand this, increase the awareness. Still, a lot of people are not using smartphones. So, but gradually we see the cost of the smartphones reducing from what it was some time back. But certainly with the increased usage of smartphones, people are comfortable. At the same time, the banks have been increasing their security internally to ensure that hacking and that sort of discomfort and losses to the banks and the customers could be minimized.
Yeah.
So far, we see this. There's a lot of attempts which comes almost daily to probably all the banks, but the banks do have systems to manage this, and so far, banks have been successful in this in most of the time, and as it is, it's fairly safe, I would say.
I think it's very good to hear that. It's very comforting, and I think gives a lot of confidence to all stakeholders. The fact that banks have had an excellent record and you all are maintaining good security. Another aspect to the COVID is the moratorium that was granted by the government with regard to certain payments that may fall due during this troubled period. Do you see this affecting the development of the banking industry in any way, even in the short term or to the medium term?
Well, yes, I must say. I think it's a very good initiative and a timely action taken by the central bank as well, because most of these businesses that are facing difficulties currently are in fact solid businesses which were performing very well. But of course, they have had to weather these challenges in the past, which were not anticipated before. But in the face of these unprecedented circumstances, we see they are struggling, and thus helping them through this period is actually good for all concerned, the businesses, the banks, and the economy, to all three parties. And basically, as a result, what we have observed is that those businesses that apply for moratoriums have steadily declined compared to the first wave during early mid last year. They are fairly, the requests have declined, and a vast majority of the customers who initially applied have become very well-performing companies, and the banking industry financial results during the first quarter, I think, speaks for itself with increased profits and low non-performing loans. So we saw last year when this came out initially, the trend was for all those who were eligible to apply. But gradually, the people and the businesses have realized that they should not apply for the sake of applying. And a lot of these businesses have changed their business models. They have realized that revenue generation is not easy, and they may have to live with this for some more months,
Right.
Probably a year and a half to go, with 1.5 years already passed, totaling to at least a minimum 3 years. So therefore, they, having understood the challenge of revenue generation, they have gone into cost management in a big way. Very especially, a lot of the businesses have, gone into work from home models, and so which increase the time of their employee engagement, reduce the cost and the time of traveling, and very especially this is applied in the services industry more than the industry factories. Of course, factories, you need to have the workers to manufacture in the places where the machines are fixed. But certainly in the services industry, this has been applied to a great extent. And in general, the moratoriums were useful. They are useful even now. But the latest moratorium which was introduced, I think, is in a good way, where the banks had the discretion to look into and provide it to the needy customers without all eligible being making use of it. So therefore, people are realizing they are making use of this more, I would say, in a prudent manner, and it is helping people to get off this thing which they never expected. And most of these people are not basically deliberate defaulters, and they appear to be, managing this well. And the banks have also started to come up with the initial blow they had with the reliefs granted through fees, interest cuts, and various commission cuts and so on. So parties are sort of getting used to this, and I think it's a good move, a timely move by the central bank and the government.
Yes, I think quite a timely move, as you quite rightly said, on the part of the government and the central bank to help these businesses. And I think they needed a helping hand at the right time, and that came from all the banks with the intervention of the government. I think you also brought up a very good point, Nanda, in talking about business resilience. I think we are seeing and we are witnessing how even the small businesses, SMEs, are now changing their business models to overcome the challenges that they are facing. So businesses are evolving and getting on top of the situation. So it's a favorable sign, and we are seeing some good results as well, as you quite rightly pointed out. Talking about SMEs, Nanda, we know that Sampath has a fairly good program targeted at SME companies in light of the interest in SMEs through the capital market as well. Can you elaborate a little on the program that you have for SMEs and MSMEs?
Yes, Rajeev. In fact, SMEs are the worst affected businesses by this pandemic, I would say. Basically, we have instructed all our senior managers going down to the branch managers level to maintain a very close rapport with these prospective customers during this challenging time. And by doing this, we are able to early identify the problems faced by the SMEs, basically guide them through challenges and provide maximum flexibility and support to them financially. We have also endorsed and extended all the concessions proposed by central bank and work very closely to nurse the SMEs back to their old self. And basically, apart from them, we have designed a loan scheme called the Sampath, targeting the SMEs, and in order to very specially overcome the challenges during this period. And apart from that, we we basically participate at all refinance schemes introduced by the government of Sri Lanka and the foreign donors. And thirdly, we have set up dedicated banking unit called the Business Support Center. So this is based in Talavathugada, where a force of approximately 50 of them, they do help the MSMEs and the SMEs. These are staff who do not have dedicated customer portfolios. So their primary function is to go and serve the startup businesses. So if anybody calling our customer care center through the 24/7 mobile number, the contacts will be passed on to the business support center, where some officer would immediately visit these customers and help them. In turn, the bank is also benefited together with the customer. So therefore, industry-wise focused units for specialization, apart from this business support center, is established, and this helps a lot to speed up the decision making. For example, our businesses are segmented into, say, construction, agriculture, leisure, manufacturing, trading, and so on, so that there is some specialized knowledge in the staff who handle these SMEs. So thereby, there is an overall focus to SMEs, and when our portfolios are taken in the bank, we as a local bank covering the entire Sri Lanka, the majority of our businesses are SME based. So therefore, we have a very close rapport. We have provided them to access very easily, and we provide them specialized knowledge gathered through this specialization program. And also refinance schemes are open. So we invite the public to contact the customer care center and get more and more details and be benefited from the services of Sampath Bank.
Sampath Bank PLC is one of the largest listed companies on the stock exchange. Bank was formed way back in 1986, over 35 years ago, and listed, I think, in 2008. Can you talk about experience as a listed company and how Sampath Bank has benefited from its involvement in the capital market?
Yes, Rajeeva. In fact, Sampath Bank has been looking forward to the capital market as one of our main investor base. And the bank, since its inception, has repeatedly accessed the capital market to fund our expansion activities. And even this year, we raised funds through a debenture, and we depend on the capital market to a great extent to fund our future expansion as well. So basically, at a time where the investment opportunities are lesser, very especially at times like this, and where the cash holdings among the general publics has increased, I would say, tremendously. And as you would see from the first quarter results, in most of the banks, their CASA balances have increased. And of course, the term deposits have reduced, but people are holding on to cash more and more due to these uncertainties. And therefore, the capital markets has been one of our main source of investment as well.
Nanda, we know that Sampath also has some significant foreign shareholders as well. Any thoughts on how foreign investors could add value to your bank, or as well as any company where we consider foreign investment as an important segment? How do you think really foreign investors add value to the entire process of a listed company?
Well, Rajeeva, foreign investors are usually long-term investors, and therefore they do a very detailed, deep analysis into companies before they invest. So similarly, the foreign investors we do have, some of them have been with us for long years, and as I told you, many of them are long-term investors. So they monitor the performance of a company very closely, and they are unafraid to take the management to task if they see something amiss. So basically, they are also very concerned on the ESG area, governance policies, standards of companies. So therefore, all this, the scrutiny push companies to think afresh and come up with innovative solutions that add value in the long run. And investors become very kind to such companies that they take such prodding in the right direction. And one thing what they would also like to know is not only the good things and the good times of the companies, they would want to know the tough times and the challenges faced by the companies as well. You would have, obviously observed that when we meet the foreign investors often, they like the companies, whether it be banks or whatever, who share all information with them very transparently. So they have been a very important part of our shareholding. They continue to continue to be with us, and even during the pandemic, we have had several video conferences to keep them aware of what is happening. They are very concerned as to the loan repayments, the liquidity situation, the spread of COVID, and so on. So they are very important, and we give due respect to them and are very transparent with them in all our activities.
That's very useful, Nanda, the thoughts that you did share, because foreign shareholders do add value to our market, and I think it's important as a capital market, as listed companies, to have continually a dialogue with the foreign shareholders, so that you stay engaged with those shareholders, that they keep investing and be with Sri Lanka over the long term. So that's a good insight that you gave. So talking about shareholders, one final question, Nanda. Can you share some insights into the efforts and initiatives that you are taking to drive shareholder value, and any message to your shareholders?
Yes, as I mentioned before, Rajeeva, we have implemented a number of initiatives to ensure smooth functioning and continuation of a business as usual for both the bank and our customers, regardless of what circumstances prevail. By doing this, we are also serving the interests of our shareholders, as only continuing business during these times can generate returns. If we get scared to the pandemic and closed shop, nothing will get going. So we have to continue the efforts, continue educating, motivating our customers, helping them on one hand. On the other hand, looking at the interest of our staff who serve these customers under very, very challenging conditions. So by doing both this very efficiently, timely, and in a caring manner, ultimate beneficiary, one of the beneficiaries are going to be the shareholders. This has been proved by our extraordinary performance during the Q1 of this year. So we saw during the Q1 results, the bank achieved a profit of 4.5 billion, which was 85% growth over the corresponding quarter of last year. And when we took Sampath as a group, our growth was over 100% compared to the first quarter of last year. So in spite of the conditions, in spite of the tough conditions of approaching even the business officers by our staff, we have continued to keep the momentum and do our duty to all stakeholders, our business partners, our customers, our staff, and finally the stakeholders as well. So I am very confident that we, with all our experiences I have at Sampath Bank from the year of its inception in 1987, we know basically a lot of the customers, what their needs, the understanding we have with them, the rapport we have with them, and basically that helps to a great extent for us to help customers. And when we help our customers, the customers will not let go the bank. In general, the deliberate defaulters are very few, I would say.
Issues are improving. So we have got to understand the customer. This is a situation which arose not due to the fault of the customers. It was so unexpected. None of us ever visualized this situation. So we have to understand the situation, help the customers, help the staff, help our business partners, and then undoubtedly our stakeholders are going to be benefited in the manner they got benefited during the Q1. Our results during the Q1, this amount of growth, 85% in the bank and over 100% in the group, had never been in the history of our 35 years. So this is commitment by our team, and I must say the biggest asset on our balance sheet is the Sampath team. So I bow them, I value them, I respect them, and our team will certainly look after all our stakeholders and will do whatever possible for the nation and the country.
Thank you, Nanda. I think that's an excellent way to close today's discussion. And once again, thank you for a very insightful discussion that we had with you today. Thank you for joining us.